Howard Schultz was born on July 19, 1953 in Brooklyn, New York, into a working-class family that lived in a federally subsidized housing complex. His parents, Fred and Elaine Schultz, struggled to provide a stable life for their children. His father worked a series of blue-collar jobs, including truck driving and factory work. Life was tough and money was always tight. One defining moment in Howard's childhood shaped his entire perspective on business and leadership. When he was 7 years old, his father suffered a serious workplace injury. He slipped and broke his ankle while working as a truck driver. At the time, the family had no health insurance, no workers' compensation, and no safety net. His father was left jobless and his family was plunged into financial hardship. Howard never forgot the way his father was treated, discarded by the system without any support. This memory stayed with him for life and became a driving force behind his business philosophy. He wanted to create a company that cared for its employees, that gave people opportunities instead of leaving them behind. Despite growing up in poverty, Howard was ambitious. He used sports as a way to escape his difficult surroundings. He became a talented athlete, particularly in football and basketball, and eventually earned a football scholarship to Northern Michigan University. This was his ticket to a better life. But once he got there, he realized that sports weren't his true passion. Business was. He decided to pursue a degree in communications, working various odd jobs to pay for his tuition. After graduating in 1975, he took a job in sales at Xerox, where he learned valuable skills in marketing and persuasion. It was at Xerox that Schultz began to understand the importance of storytelling in business. Selling wasn't just about a product, it was about creating an emotional connection. But Xerox wasn't where he wanted to be. In 1979, he took a job at Hammerplast, a Swedish housewares company, where he sold kitchen equipment, including coffee makers. This job would change his life forever. One day, Schultz noticed something unusual in his sales reports. A small coffee company in Seattle called Starbucks was ordering a surprising number of coffee machines, far more than any other customer. He was curious. Why was this tiny business buying so much equipment? He decided to fly to Seattle and see for himself. When he arrived at Starbucks in 1981, he instantly fell in love. The company was run by three partners, Gordon Bowker, Jerry Baldwin, and Zev Siegel, who were passionate about high-quality coffee. They weren't trying to build a massive business. They were simply importing and roasting the best coffee beans they could find. Starbucks wasn't a cafe yet. It was just a retail store that sold coffee beans and equipment. But Howard Schultz saw something bigger. He saw the potential for Starbucks to become a national brand. Schultz was so impressed by Starbucks that he spent an entire year convincing the owners to hire him. In 1982, they finally agreed, and he joined as the Director of Retail Operations and Marketing. He threw himself into the work, learning everything about the coffee industry. But he wasn't content with simply selling beans. He had a much bigger vision. Then, in 1983, everything changed. Schultz took a trip to Milan, Italy. That would transform his understanding of coffee forever. In Milan, he discovered a completely different coffee culture, one that revolved around espresso bars. These cafes weren't just places to grab a drink. They were vibrant social spaces where people gathered, talked, and built relationships. There were thousands of these coffee bars all over Italy, and they weren't just about coffee, they were about community. Schultz had an epiphany. He realized that Starbucks was missing something crucial. It wasn't just about selling coffee beans, it was about creating an experience. He envisioned Starbucks as a place where people could relax, meet friends, and enjoy high-quality coffee in a welcoming environment. Excited, he rushed back to Seattle and pitched his idea to the Starbucks founders. But they weren't interested. The owners of Starbucks had no desire to run a cafe business. They saw themselves as purists, coffee roasters and retailers, not restaurateurs. Schultz was devastated, but he refused to let go of his dream. If Starbucks wouldn't do it, he would. In 1985, Schultz made the bold decision to leave Starbucks and start his own coffee company. He named it Il Giornale, inspired by the Italian coffee culture he had fallen in love with. But he had one major problem: money. Starting a business required funding, and Schultz had none. He spent months pitching his idea to investors, facing rejection after rejection. Many people thought he was crazy. Coffee was not a big industry in America at the time. Most people drank cheap, mass-produced coffee at home or from diners. The idea of a premium coffeehouse chain seemed unrealistic. But Schultz refused to give up. He kept pushing, kept telling his story, and eventually he raised enough money to open his first store. Il Giornale was a success. Customers loved the cozy, inviting atmosphere, and business grew quickly. Then, in 1987, Schultz got an unexpected opportunity. The Starbucks founders decided to sell the company. He knew this was his moment. He scrambled to raise $3.8 million, bought Starbucks, and merged it with Il Giornale. He finally had control of the brand he had fallen in love with. Now it was time to bring his vision to life. Under Schultz's leadership, Starbucks transformed. He introduced a new store design inspired by Italian espresso bars, created a menu centered around handcrafted coffee drinks, and most importantly, built a company culture that treated employees well. He introduced health benefits for part-time workers, something unheard of in the food service industry, and created stock options so that employees had a stake in the company's success. This wasn't just about business for Schultz. It was about building a company that his father never had. Starbucks grew rapidly. In 1992, it went public, and its stock price soared. Stores began opening all across America, and soon, Starbucks was expanding internationally. The company became a global brand, but Schultz never lost sight of his original vision, creating a space where people could connect over coffee. However, success came with challenges. In the 2000s, Starbucks expanded aggressively, opening thousands of new locations. Growth was so fast that quality began to suffer. Customers started complaining that Starbucks had lost its original charm. In 2008, the company hit a crisis. Profits were declining, and Starbucks was struggling to maintain its identity. Schultz, who had stepped down as CEO in 2000, returned to lead the company once again. He immediately took action. He shut down every single Starbucks store for an entire day to retrain baristas on how to make the perfect espresso. He refocused the company on quality, customer experience, and its core values. It worked. Starbucks made a massive comeback, proving that Schultz's leadership was still essential to the company's success. Today, Starbucks is a multi-billion-dollar global empire with over 30,000 locations, spanning 6 continents. It has transformed the way the world experiences coffee, turning what was once a simple beverage into a cultural phenomenon. But this extraordinary success did not happen overnight. It was built on years of perseverance, strategic vision, and an unyielding belief in an idea that many once dismissed. Howard Schultz's journey is a testament to what's possible when determination meets purpose. He went from growing up in a working-class family in Brooklyn, where financial struggles were a daily reality, to leading one of the most recognizable and influential brands in the world. His story is not just about business. It's about resilience in the face of adversity, about seeing opportunities where others see obstacles, and about believing in something so strongly that even repeated failures and rejections cannot deter you. What sets Schultz apart is not just his ability to build a profitable company, but his dedication to building a company with a soul. He didn't just sell coffee, he created an experience. He understood that people don't just visit Starbucks for caffeine. They come for the atmosphere, the warmth, and the sense of community. He turned Starbucks into a third place between work and home, a space where people could connect, reflect, and feel a sense of belonging. This vision of fostering human connection is what made Starbucks more than just another coffee chain. It became a lifestyle. Schultz also redefined what it means to be a leader. He believed that a company's success should not come at the expense of its employees, but should be built alongside them. From offering healthcare benefits to part-time workers to providing stock options that allowed baristas to have a stake in the company's success, he made decisions that prioritized people over pure profits. His leadership showed that businesses don't just have to be about making money. They can be forces for good, creating opportunities and uplifting those who contribute to their growth. But success is never a straight line. Starbucks faced its fair share of setbacks, periods of overexpansion, declining quality, and economic downturns that threatened its stability. Yet, every time the company faltered, Schultz stepped in with bold decisions that reignited its core mission. His ability to adapt, to acknowledge mistakes, and to restore Starbucks' identity proves that great businesses are not just about what you sell, but how you evolve. Howard Schultz's journey is a powerful reminder that the most successful people in the world didn't start with all the answers. They started with a dream, a deep sense of purpose, and an unstoppable drive to bring their vision to life. He proved that true leadership is not about titles or power, but about inspiring others, taking risks, and staying true to one's values, even in the face of doubt. His story serves as an inspiration to aspiring entrepreneurs, dreamers, and anyone who has ever faced obstacles on the path to success. It teaches us that setbacks are not the end, but rather stepping stones towards something greater. It reminds us that building something meaningful requires patience, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to excellence. So, what do you think of Howard Schultz's incredible journey? Do you believe that vision and perseverance can truly shape the future? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this story inspiring, don't forget to like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to our channel for more powerful stories of resilience, leadership, and success.